Speaking of which, a new report from Defending Ed finds that the nation's two largest teachers' unions have funneled more than $40 million into left-wing groups since 2022.
Our next guest was one of the people behind this research and is now condemning the groups for choosing politics over students. Defending Ed researcher Rhyen Staley joins us now. Rhyen, thanks for getting up with us. You know, it's no shock to me that you see these numbers going to these left-wing groups. Tell us what else you found and what you want to see done about it.
Well, good morning. You know, show me your budget and I'll tell you what you value. And what we found is the teachers unions value far left political power and left wing ideologies. You know, they took this money and they basically indirect taxes from their teachers and they funneled them into their pet projects and their allies on the left. You know, groups like Arabella Advisors and the Trevor Project even. And so this comes at the expense of families and students and teachers in the classroom trying to just improve reading and test scores.
I look at this and I think not only are these unions doing nothing to help our students, I mean, that's sort of a given based upon what we've seen over the last couple of decades, I would argue, but they're doing nothing to help the teachers that pay those fees, that pay those dues, like you mentioned. I mean, there's an adversarial relationship sometimes with teachers and the kids that they're supposed to teach and the parents, and I get that. But at the end of the day, the union is supposed to fight for the teachers, and yet they're wasting money on this stuff, which, quite frankly, doesn't help teachers in the least. Your thoughts?
Correct. They're very much, and we saw this with their conventions this summer, their focus is advancing very unpopular policies and ideologies, you know, to the point of 70% of the American public disagree with these things. And yet they're still advancing them using indirect taxpayer dollars to do it.
You know, the takeaway that I have from this, it seems like to me this is like a taxpayer-funded spending spree, and they're just putting this money where they think they should, where the taxpayer has no say in where it goes. And to your point, Todd, it's not helping the literacy of the kids. The mathematics scores are still down. You know, what does there has to be some sort of punishment for this. I mean, what comes next with that?
You know, that's a great question. And I know that there are some bills that I'm not super familiar with as much as I would like to with Congress. But hopefully this is something that they will look at and try to figure out a viable solution. But it's very much like we've seen with other things that have come out in this last year where, you know, these groups are using taxpayer dollars or indirect taxpayer dollars and they're pushing them into their ally on the left, who are then driving, you know, these anti-American, in many cases, these anti-American policies.
Yeah, I mean, to follow up on Ashley's question, yes, I understand that there are some things before Congress, but you are asking Congress, hey, step in and do something. So what specifically do you, having researched this, been in the weeds on this, what do you want to see Congress do short of saying, let's end all of this?
That's a great question, and I think it's a little bit beyond where I'm sitting. But what I would love to see is I'd love to see some sort of pressure put on these unions to have that money directed towards things that are productive for the American family, for students, to improve reading, improve math scores, and basically, you know, how can we get that money to go back into the communities to improve the academics?
Yeah. Rhyen, we have been calling for that. I remember my parents were calling for that and trying to fight the teachers union all the way back when my mom was a teacher and in the union.
I was going to say 100 years ago when you were in school. Just
she
kidding.
had to get in the joke because I'm old. Rhyen Staley's not old. He's young. He's young at heart. Important topic, though.
Thanks,
He's
Rhyen.
here with us this morning.